don't tell your parents that we're coming over to record the suck. That would be odd.
I would never.
They might take it differently than what we meant.
My parents do know that I have a podcast, but they kind of treat it as like your child telling you that they did an art project.
Nice.
They're like, that's great, Justine. That's really wonderful.
No,
Are you having fun
response
with your friends? Yeah.
It's like the meme with the guy, the dad comes in, are you winning, son?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
Yes.
They're like, do you have, do your friends listen to it? No, they don't actually, but thank you, Mom. I love you.
I found out today that apparently people pretend to like this podcast, which I'm still trying to figure out the logic behind that. I don't know if
pretend. Just don't even pretend.
Why? There's so many
it's
podcasts.
Actually more embarrassing to pretend to like a bad podcast than it is to even make a bad podcast. Like, that's way worse.
If you sub to the Patreon, I will personally listen to you hate on me and the podcast, like as much as you want. I'll block off time and be like, okay, lay it on.
We can do abuse sessions for $10 a month. Subscribers will gladly step in for that.
I'll gladly be your little humiliation pig for $10. Yes. I don't care.
As long as it's on these internet sites like whatever, Facebook and Patreon. If it's in real life, fuck off.
It's like I already have a podcast. I clearly don't have the dignity to turn it down. So
Exactly. That's the funniest thing about doing the show and trying to make money off of it is like, personally, like it's very funny to think about the amount of money I make off the podcast versus anything else I've ever done in my life. I'm like, I love that y'all support the show. It makes me feel great that y'all would want to listen to it. But it's also like, what is probably like 50 cents an hour or something when it
it's nothing. I mean, like, it's a labor of love. I mean,
you got to be in this for the love of the game for sure.
Yeah, but it was super weird. I found out today through the grapevine that some folks have been hating on me again in the Facebook world, and I'm just going to be vague about it because I don't really care, but like I do like to like suss it out, like. And what I've noticed is there's a trend. I've actually looked back all the way through now. I was thinking about it when I was talking about it with some folks on Discord. The running theme for me, the reason people hate me, and I can literally pin it to this exact reason, is that I unfriended them on Facebook. People are aggressively against me because I unfriended them. I won't name this person, but it's somebody that I do know has listened to the podcast. I unfriended them and they went on a rant. They posted on every single post on my feed and commented on every single one for like weeks and was just saying like, I thought we were close friends. How could you unfriend? Like it was like a copy paste type thing. And I was just like, I think I'd been off the internet for 2 or 3 hours. So
just a normal thing to do when someone unfriends you. Just a normal thing. Didn't even block it. Didn't even block them. Just literally just unfriended so that they could still do this.
Unfriended. And so a lot of people.
Phil Buck for refusing to place them in his top 8.
Honestly, this makes me miss MySpace even more because it could have just been upfront about it. Like, look, you're not in the top 8. Just deal with it. Like you can feel hurt by my boundaries. It's much more apparent here that,
No, that used to get people killed though.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah,
there was at least one top 8 related murder. Actually, I'm vouching for there was at least one top 8 related murder.
I was gonna say I feel like there was a real story here, so you got me. I'm a very gullible guy. So.
I think Willow meant it as a joke, but I'm being very serious that I am 99% certain if I look back, there was one that I recall.
Incredible.
One of the weirdest experiences that happened early on in like the internet was MySpace related. I had like a MySpace and I definitely didn't like shit post from it because you couldn't really. Right. But I like didn't take it that seriously. But like this girl started following me and I don't know, I had to be like 17. Mm-hmm. And I like she found out where I worked and showed up. I had never met this girl in my life, And she showed up at my work and followed me around and would not leave. And I had to go hide in the back and tell my boss that this girl was following. Luckily, he was cool about it. And he was just like, hey, okay, just like stay back here. And I'll like say that you like, I don't know. I don't remember what he said, but yeah, he's dead. He died. He went in the back and he died.
Hey, this is Matt from MySpace Messenger. Hey, this is Matt's dad. He died.
He's dead now.
Sad.
So sorry.
Don't come to his job anymore. He doesn't work there because he's.
I deleted his MySpace, so don't look for it.
Oh man, that's
MySpace
so funny though,
didn't
because
even have an active blocking mechanism, did it? It was just
I don't remember,
don't think
honestly.
so. Yeah,
you just had to like deal with it.
I don't think they had the ability to. Yeah, no, you definitely
clearly the
couldn't block
climate
people back then.
of MySpace, so weird MySpace was way less toxic than weird Facebook is, because I can remember being very invested in MySpace. For the record, I've only ever been on social media because I joined MySpace to promote my band, and I got on Facebook because my brother and sister, who at the time were cooler than me, they probably still are, but I'm pretty cool now. I've leveled up a few times, but like I got on Facebook because they're like, no, MySpace fucking sucks now, dude. You got to get on Facebook, and like that's like famous last words or something. I don't know.
Remember that time?
Because now
I remember when Facebook
addicted to Facebook.
Yeah, I remember when Facebook you had to have a edu email to sign up.
For
and I
quite some
had
time.
I had to lie and say that I went to a local community college at 13.
Oh
wow,
God.
Nice,
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I had to tell the
Genius.
truth and say that I did go to a local community college from the ages of
Just probably
18
worse.
to 20. Hey,
I did
good
end
on
up
you.
going to the community college that I lied about going to.
Nice.
So I
Just to get on,
retroactively
just to
made it
stay like so your Facebook didn't get deactivated.
beautiful.
right. Yeah, that's
Like,
exactly why.
Send a picture of your student ID, which is some real shit that would happen on Facebook these days.
Yeah,
Like,
Facebook's got me 30 grand in debt for 2 useless degrees.
Well, it's been a weird day for me for all those reasons. I don't know what to think about all this, but I just got to say that, like, hey, if anybody is listening to this show right now and you don't actually like it, by all means, please, God, stop listening right now.
No,
Like,
Go.
we're haters. We like to complain about stuff, but we do it because it's fun together for us. You know,
Yeah.
it's like a
I
bonding
love
thing.
to hate on
like,
shit.
No, I'm
Yeah, we
doing
don't-
it for the haters.
Yeah, we don't actually feel a ton of hate. We just like hating with each other.
Speak for yourself. I feel a lot of. I keep it in here very closely.
It's the only thing that gets me up in the morning.
Yeah.
For real.
In fact, if you like me, fuck you.
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing here? Get out of here. But I will say, Phil, you're not having the worst social media day of anybody that I know.
Okay.
My personal favorite Greek Twitter lawyer has come under fire. Perry Abbasi, also known as Pericles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Follow him on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. We love Perry.
Funny guy.
What's going on with Perry?
Funny guy.
I need to hear more about this.
So he is currently, I think most people who follow him know he is a fairly high-profile lawyer in Chicago, and he is currently up for election for to be the police district candidate in the 25th district, which is basically it's like a legal consultant position for that district in Chicago. Essentially, it's not a role that has a lot of power, basically, but they've gone through his Twitter. And I'm going to say it doesn't look good.
I just Googled.
It doesn't look good by regular standards.
I'm looking at
his
the link.
name, and in the last 6 hours, his tweets are terrible as fuck. What is happening?
Yeah, it's like he really leaned into it.
Can I read one? I would love to read the one.
please.
Yeah.
This shit came out 3 hours ago. I don't know what his voice sounds like. You said he's Greek. I don't think I feel comfortable doing an accent.
Oh no, he's an American. He has an American accent.
He's of Greek descent, Phil.
Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
Greek descent.
That's what,
Sorry, he's
Jesus.
okay, I'll just read it in my.
So just do a Jason Mantzoukas voice.
Yeah.
I don't know that, Willow. You have to do that. I don't know. How to do it.
I can't.
I'll just read it. It's
yeah,
good.
you just read
Can I
it. Just read it.
It's
says-
fine.
3 hours ago, if you search Perry Pericles Abbasi on Google, one of the first things that come up is this tweet. If I were a lesser man, I would have apologized for my tweets, locked my account, and put pronouns in my bio. I didn't, however, because I'm an alpha male and I have done nothing wrong.
Right. So I guess my thing there is you can read that and feel the bit, right? Like you can tell it's like a bit tweet, but like the journalists, I guess,
I love this guy.
Yeah, they're taking Matt, like, we're waiting on it.
Face value, and like I said, some of it doesn't look good, but like I guess my thing is like
some of it does look good though.
Yeah, some of it does. But the one that really set off all of this was he made a tweet that was like, "Is it called misogyny if you love women but don't like it when they gather and speak to each other in wickedness or something?" Clearly
the answer's no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Absolutely isn't.
And like people are taking that at full face value. Pericles Abbasi hates women. And like
he probably does, though. I mean, I'm just saying from one tweet that I've read.
He probably hates some women, you know, and he's entitled to at least 10.
I will say he loves the Red Scare girls.
God. Oh my God.
He's a woman.
Of course he does.
When Dasha's around. I mean, but like Perry, I will say never. I mean, this is horrible anecdotal evidence, but Perry's always been very lovely to me and very kind.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a lovely little guy. Love my Perry. In fact, I was able to speak with him. He hosted a Twitter space today, just talking a little bit about all of this.
Sure.
And I can actually, in a little bit here, talk about the Twitter space, what went on in there, because that was something. But I was able to speak with him afterwards. I got us a Suck exclusive statement from the man himself, just for us.
Oh no! Okay. Oh my God.
And I'd like to read this for you. I'm not going to do a Perry accent because he frankly just sounds like a dude from Chicago. So,
sure. Okay.
My statement is, I love everybody and I don't have a racist or misogynist bone in my body. I liked to play villainous characters in group chats and people had fun with it. And that is his statement. And I am willing to accept that fully because I've been in some of the same group chats and it's just a weird mind environment. You're going to say dumb shit that you absolutely would not say otherwise. And like,
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We're really collaborating to create the worst brain rot possible. But I will say, and this was brought up in the space as well, these leaked group chat messages that came out are about 2 years old. And I am not in that one, but I am in chats with Perry. And he's not, like... Those group chats are leaving out some messages that led up to that. I'll say that. I've been in these chats where people are riffing, and like that's not the worst of anything that anyone said.
Yeah, seriously.
I know a guy on Twitter who does a bit where his whole thing is that he's a pedophile.
Sure.
Like,
Jesus
and he plays it for laughs, and like everyone accepts it. So I kind of refuse to be like, yeah,
is
Perry
his name Justin Roiland?
To be fair, Phil, you have to have an incredibly high IQ to understand teenage girls.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what's going on with Perry, and it's just I find it very funny to see this like very insular world with its own lingo, its own vibes, its own like tone of how we speak about things being looked at by like political journalists and taken just fully credulously with no like just seeing like the world's most obvious like bit post being taken as like fact is incredibly funny to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. At the beginning of this, I did not really understand that this guy was actually doing bits. Is he actually an okay guy? I mean, okay.
From my understanding, of course, like,
yeah, again,
if he secretly murdered someone and buried them, I don't know about it.
Fair.
But
that wouldn't super surprise me, but like complimentary, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to find from the article, my favorite little paragraph of this article, because this is a hilarious thing to have in ink here, and because he was asked about this stuff. Quote, he said he had no idea who 99% of his 24,000 Twitter followers are. First of all, believe that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who these freaks are. And that he believes they have a range of political views. Also true. Perry is one of the few people that really grabs leftists who think he's funny for the bit he does, and really good at grabbing right-wing freaks who, again, fully take what he does at face value and say, yeah, same.
He's bridging the gap, is what you're saying.
Exactly, yeah. He's reaching across the aisle.
Yeah, the aisle, yeah.
The engagement he gets on social media fill a desire for celebrity that has helped him successfully lose weight, he added. His current bit, and they put the word bit into like scare quotes. His current bit on Twitter is posing as a, quote, alpha male who is also a, quote, closeted homosexual. And some journalists sat there and wrote that down, took themselves completely seriously, and didn't doubt it for a second. Just beautiful stuff.
Wow. I have to admit, at the introduction of this story, like in our shared group chat about it, I didn't understand any of that. So, hey, you know.
And I think that's the thing, is if you're not steeped in Pericles culture, you don't get it. He does come off as a bad guy, but like you follow him for a couple of weeks and you're like, I get the bit. This is funny as shit. You love Perry.
So what is the actual level of like the running for, you know, political office? Is that part of the bit? Is this for real?
No, that is his actual career that he works for. He is an actual practicing attorney who is running for this position.
Impressive.
And,
why doesn't he have more of like a cover? Like, why doesn't he have more of like an alt, as they would say? You know?
I frankly think it's because he truly like believes in his ability to separate the career and his bit. Yeah. Which I think he should be able to do, but I will say he probably isn't.
That's
I think it's
tall order.
Yeah. When
the stuff reads like edgelord group chat stuff that you're saying just for the, you know, the laughs. I mean, look, it's not great when you take it out of context, or even when you put it in context, kind of. But
literally,
I don't know. I mean, it's like
guy. What is it, Nick Adams or whatever? Isn't he like an elected? And it's like,
is he though? Because I saw him do a joint. Saw him do a joint tweet with fucking Ben Shapiro parody account about jacking off.
Oh, well, that's actually a huge relief to me, because maybe it is a bit. People have.
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure it's a bit, but it's like it almost doesn't matter because it's not funny, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I think most of the people I've seen laughing at it have been laughing at it unironically, like that this is an embarrassing person. But if they're doing it ironically and people aren't getting the joke, but they're still laughing, like, does it all come out in the wash at that point? I don't know how this works anymore. The irony goes too deep.
Yeah, because I think when it's a character that's like, whether they're earnestly or ironically stoking hatred, a lot of people really do what this journalist has done and just take everything at face value. And I don't know. There are people in journalism doing this. There are definitely people in nothing doing this.
Yeah.
So
I can actually relate. I was totally canceled for like having a quote unquote black scent because I had a character named Chill Neal that, you know, kind of talked in a certain way that at times definitely I would say in the past was closer to a black scent than it is now. But yeah, I get it. Like, people don't understand the joke.
Sure, right, yeah, and sometimes you come to sort of a crossroads where it's like, you know, do I keep on with this joke, or is it like, you know?
But also, like, this is how I talk. Like, y'all listen to me talk every week to week, and it's like, Chill Neal is not mostly removed. I think maybe I just tried to stop saying like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't say that anymore. Like that's probably a good idea.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess my thing is though, is to me, Chill Neil always just sounded deep south.
Yeah.
Which
Like it's
sounds
just
like
a
Memphis.
southern accent to me. Yeah, just Memphis, like southern guy. That's how they talk. I've spent a lot of time in the South. You just sound like you're from there, which you are.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. I meet people in Colorado. They just actually this weekend we went to the pool with some parents from my kids' daycare. We're trying to make friends and shit because we're parents with no friends. And one of the guys in the couple goes like, "So why do you have an accent but your wife doesn't?" Like, I don't know how to answer that, you guys. Like,
yeah,
it's just how I am, you know.
Yeah.
This is how I talk. I don't know.
Yeah, my
Pella.
sister has.
Are you appropriating right now?
Yes, probably
Oh,
not on purpose, but shit. Cut me some
My-
slack.
Southern.
My
Just
sister and I we're both born in Texas, right?
Mhm.
She especially when she drinks, sounds like she's from Texas. Like
yes,
you
that's
hear that
really
shit.
truly when it happens.
Yeah, she sounds Texan. I would like to think that I don't. I if anything, if I drink, I get the Red Scare vocal fry, whatever that is. But that's about it. Like,
Mhm.
so
I would say a weird thing for me was that growing up in the South, I tried to have less of an accent because I was surrounded by people that
Mhm.
sounded that way, and there's also
Sure.
a stigma about being Southern that like you're stupid. Like if you
Yeah,
sound
yeah, for
Southern,
sure,
it
for
means
sure.
you're
Yeah.
stupid.
You don't have the Alabama accent. Yeah.
It's still there. It's still something you think about when people say, "Where
Yeah.
are you from?" when they hear you speak. But I think moving away from the South and people recognizing it for a different reason, I probably suppressed it less. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Like that's just how I talk and whatever.
Yeah, if I drink and I get angry, I definitely get into New York mode. It's terrible.
You drink and get angry?
Either one. If I drink or get angry.
I see.
And if I do both,
Oh wow.
it's not pretty,
Over.
folks.
Pizza
Yeah,
just starts shooting
Matt-
out of his
It's
mouth.
grease everywhere.
Matt, drunk and mad. You better watch out because
You better watch your fucking back.
I'm walking here. Matt,
Bada bing, baby.
you're cut off, okay?
Drinking like
that's,
Mike's
that's
Hard.
actually a really great way to like gauge where Matt's at in an evening. Is
true.
is the accent?
It's true. That's they know to cut me off after I'm like full Joe Pesci or something.
Why are you?
Like a clown? Like I amuse you? It's just
Fucking clown to you? Can you get me my 6 Mike's Hard right now, motherfucker?
I really am going to request we need an angry drunk Matt on an episode in the near future because that
Sure.
just sounds so perfect.
We'll get Matt liquored up and then I'll start referring to weapons the wrong way. Start
There you
calling
go.
different swords the wrong name.
Oof.
Right.
Okay.
That's not a claymore.
Do me dirty.
Fuck out of here.
Fucking Claymore over here.
That's
That
not a
fucking
true
Albert out of my
ass.
face.
It's a cat's burger, okay? Called the cat's burger.
This is the best bit. I want to laugh. when that
I'm gonna get Matt real drunk and start telling him that mauls and maces were used all the time, constantly, and that they were the preferred weapon.
I'm gonna go into. You need to get me into like flail discourse.
Yeah,
That'll be. Then you really. Oh boy.
This is honestly the discourse that social media needs. All the other discourse is so much worse than
Yeah.
I don't want.
Oh,
to
I
do.
have corners of YouTube for you then.
Yeah, I don't
No, you
care
have to
about
bring it to
Bean
Facebook.
Dad. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
care about Chili Neighbor. I want to hear about Long Island Claymore Guy.
Yes.
I need to become Long Island
I could
Claymore
go
guy.
watch YouTube videos. I would much rather just see Matt making people extremely like type paragraphs on the internet because of this. Like, that would
Yeah,
be
because that is the
fantastic.
thing about this community of people. Like, they are that way. Every sword
my
guy
God,
online is
It's
like
terrible.
ready to write you an article about how
Yeah.
wrong you are.
They're very respectful compared to some other
Oh,
history nerd types for sure.
You're not God. You're not my father.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't a fucking Claymore.
Yeah, these guys aren't
I
gonna
don't know what the accent that was actually.
these guys
Sorry.
aren't gonna like call you a racial slur or anything. What they're gonna do is like write you a scholarly sourced article.
They will
in
literally
AP
source
format.
articles. That's fucked up.
Yeah. It's
That actually
great.
falls into the
seven
typography.
footnotes.
Yeah.
I told Matt I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before. My father in his retirement has started just buying things at yard sales and reselling them.
God bless him.
Yeah, he rules. But he brought home a couple like mall ninja type swords. And so I've been trying to get Matt to help me identify him because he's the least annoying sword guy I could find. And I was like, yeah, man, I really want to like post these on the sword subreddit, but like I'm scared of them. Because they I feel like I'm gonna post it and then I'm gonna receive like a 6-paragraph document about why I'm stupid for asking.
That's definitely the Reddit experience. Like literally just like if you don't post on Reddit unless you want to be berated for something.
It's the worst of the worst in like any
this isn't
community
using
like
appropriate Reddit. You're posting your own sword. Like get real. Like
oh my god.
don't post your own pictures of your own sword. What the fuck? This is self-promotion.
The word Reddit made my stomach hurt. But yeah, so I could see Matt really creating a space for non-dork ass loser sword guy. I think that would be a good
Okay, I might have to lean into it then.
Yeah.
The Matt's sword section.
This is good. This could just be a part of the show. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be.
Yeah, we'll get my conspiracy theory section. We'll get Ask Ashley. We'll get Willow's impressions moment. We'll get Matt's sword corner.
And I'll just have one about somebody that's mad that unfriended me this week. Like, I unfriended
Phil's
them.
green.
You're doing the Mark Maron Louis C.K. episode of WTF just over and over and over again with your hater.
I love it. I will just unfriend my entire friends list and just wait for the dividends to roll in. It's just like that's how it's been happening so far. I did a big friend list purge, and it was like 2 months later, people realized it. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's been 2 months. Why are you mad? You clearly don't follow me on Facebook. Like, what are you pissed off about? Like,
we can do it as like an airing of the grievances and call it
exactly
most of this year round.
Yeah.
Those grievances, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of airing grievances, I don't know if we could talk about this too much, but I did want to bring it up because I've seen a ton of posts that were super funny to me about this show Velma.
Oh my god, yeah.
I really, really wanted to try to watch it before the show. My day, I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it in today, but I have been seeing people's posts about it, and I'm just really amazed by how bad it is. And then I was also subsequently amazed to learn that I didn't know that it was produced or whatever by Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
And I guess Mindy, I used to like her in certain shows like The Office and stuff, but I guess she's a transphobe, and I didn't know that either. Which is just all
what?
Yeah, so people are pointing to her liking a J.K. Rowling tweet as proof of her transphobia.
Okay.
People are leaving out the fact that in her book several times she very pointedly uses the T slur, and I think that's more important than the tweet.
That is more
yeah,
more
important. So
I think we kind of jumped the shark.
No one read it
for the Rowling tweet. Yeah, that's
why would I read
yeah.
that book?
She's actually been a rampant homophobe and transphobe for the last like 7 years. It's just no one's
no one cared at
consuming
all.
any of her
In her
content
shitty
since like
books,
the third season of her sitcom there.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting that they tried to create this like updated version of Scooby-Doo, which has been happening since like the fucking 70s, right? I mean, they just like every 5 or 10 years, Scooby-Doo's back and it's different.
Yeah, that 70s show.
He's got a huge dick and like fucks.
Now I want to watch that one. Show me that one.
Well, the thing about this one, the thing about Velma,
Wednesday Scooby-Doo.
Well, I was reading that there's Scooby-Doo isn't in this. There's no dog.
There's no Scooby.
Yeah.
It's just Velma.
That's so fucking funny. That's really fucking funny.
Is it set in like the 70s or like 60s or 70s or whatever?
Now I think because there's a Me Too joke, so it has to be.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's supposed to be modern, and the jokes. Everything I've read about it is people are saying, "Who is this for? Like, who What is the audience?
It's for like millennial, late 20s, early 30s women who were frozen in time just before Broad City happened.
But what gets me though is that it's like somehow for that woman, but a version of that woman who is like a liberal feminist but hates the Me Too movement and cancel culture. So I don't know who that is.
It's all getting to be a bit much, don't you think?
It's like someone who
let's look at the good in the world, okay?
Like
Harvey Weinstein did, and then
like I don't understand. Like this is a woman who's like, I guess, watching the old Harlem Globetrotter episodes of the original Scooby-Doo and being like, you couldn't do this today, what with cancel culture, how it is. Like, that's the woman, and I don't know that she exists.
No, we need a more racist Scooby-Doo. That's what we need.
Definitely.
Yeah, they made up a demographic for this target audience, I think. That's they truly that's making up a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
That's it, though. No non-binary people.
Unfortunately not.
And I will say, Phil, you said you didn't have time to watch it. Unfortunately, as I remain unemployed, I had plenty of time to watch this. Oh. I had all day. I could have watched it. I did.
Well, I mean, good for you. I know
self-care though.
I knew it was on the show notes and had a thought where I was like, "Oh, I could check this out," so I'm prepared. And then said, "I'm gonna make soup." Actually,
I support that. I do. I always think it's good to at least like watch it before I talk shit because we've done that before, and it doesn't always work out. But and now that it's over,
I think the consensus is pretty general, though. I've seen no one defending it at all.
No, usually there's at least one person who's like, you guys just hate fun and want to be contrarian. This is fine. Yeah. And I haven't seen a single one. It's actually impressive.
Nice.
It might do well. It might do well because of people hate watching it, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that was what they were trying to do.
It's the most watched adult animation on HBO.
God. Yeah,
I saw somebody's post. I'm sorry, whoever it was, I don't remember, but it was just basically making fun of how HBO Discovery or whatever the company is now deleting all the shit off their platform. Mm-hmm. They just deleted it all, so Velma would be the number one.
Yeah, right. That's what they did. They got rid of all of those Looney Tunes episodes to make room for Velma.
I seriously fucking hate them because they literally are gutting that service, and then we get Velma. I don't understand how does this happen? I don't know.
I will say my favorite narrative to come out of the Velma thing is that Mindy Kaling made it bad on purpose because she's transphobic.
Wait, how? I'm gonna need you I'm gonna need you to explain that with more information.
I'm going to tell you now. There's no explanation. That's just the statement, and everyone said, "What?"
Velma is a trans icon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this like an ally move to make a show to be identified as a transphobe and then do terrible things to support the LGBTQ community? Is that how it's that works?
Rebooting Will and Grace, but making it good if you're a homophobe?
Well, I'm confused because I thought Velma was a South Asian lesbian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, not transphobic, homophobic. I'm sorry. That's what it was. It's bad on purpose because she's secretly homophobic and she wants to make the lesbian show bad. That's what it was. Thank you, Ash.
I love when people do this. It's like with the 9/11. Okay, let's go back to 9/11 again. Okay, so let's go back to
run it back, baby.
Let's go back to a simpler time.
But it always struck me as
the TV with the VCR on it for everybody.
But yeah, it was a normal day, or so they thought. But George.
Okay, now
George Bush. There were so many people that had in one hand at the time, and I was in high school at this point. There were so many people on one hand who were like George Bush and his whole administration. They're the stupidest motherfuckers we've had yet, which is fair. They kind of were probably, but like, and then there was the other hand that was like, and they're also masterminding this entire, I don't think you can have it two ways. And I think there's a lot, I'm not defending Mindy Kaling. I just think it's always really striking that people try to come out with everything, like with all guns firing, and they're like, you are the stupidest fucking person I have ever seen, and also how dare you take over the electoral system with your, it's like, it's always this elaborate thing that they're capable of doing, yet they are
they're
pathetic.
incompetent losers who are masterminding a grand conspiracy.
Stop gaslighting me, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's not that far-fetched. I mean, that's probably most of the people that gaslight other people is because they just do it out of
they're just tired.
Competence, like
so they just start lying.
So bad at life, they just fuck it up. Like
it's make a new reality they don't suck in.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Sometimes when people ask questions about things, I do just kind of make up an answer and hope that it's right.
Sure.
Like
Dudes rock.
Total unrelated.
So does Justine.
Total unrelated non sequitur, but like I was in a group chat recently and someone was like, yeah, I'm not sure like how like natural hot springs form, and I just made a bunch of shit up and like presented it with like total confidence, and everyone was like, oh, that's really cool, thank you.
Damn, Justine knows her hot spring shit.
Why, Justine? Why are you doing
this?
Because
it's fun. Lying to people is fun. Have you never tried it?
We can't even see you right now. You might be. You might not even be there. You know.
No,
I don't know how to answer this question. I need to be in more group chats. I guess
you should You don't even need to be in a group chat. Do it at the grocery store. Lie for fun.
Do it at work. Do it anywhere.
So it's, do you know where the crackers are? Excuse me. Did you ask me? No, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Is it in
aisle 3?
Yeah, just total confidence.
Don't care about,
or you don't
is
know.
it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to do it for stuff you don't care about. Anytime I meet a stranger that I know that I'll never see again, grocery store, bar, dispensary, whatever, I'll just make up a fake life story while chit chatting. Airports are the best for it. Anytime I've ever gone to an airport, I have at least 4 identities from strangers that I'm talking to.
That's a good place to do it, because especially if you have someone's attention, and you're having a good conversation, you could just say whatever the fuck, you're going somewhere else. So
one time I was
fuck small talk, just lie to people,
Yeah.
What if you meet like on the return trip, they're also on the plane, Like what do you do then?
Make up a new story and lie harder.
Great. Yeah, Willow, clearly the movers keep lying, obviously.
You're like the airport con man. Don't you have like an in-flight free drink grift?
Yes,
we've
I sure
this
do,
on the
and
show
I've
before.
actually given the whole the trick. If you guys want to get free drinks, go back in our back catalog and find it. I'm not going to. That's on you.
Delta has a picture of Justine in just like every cockpit.
Do not surf this moment.
I don't fly Delta, baby. I fly Spirit.
Justine cannot fly these airlines anymore.
But no, like I was flying from Vegas to Seattle once, just on like a weekend booty call trip, basically. And I remember specifically doing the free drink thing, getting drunk with the guy in the seat next to me, and just making up this entire life story about how I'm on a work trip. That I am an interior designer and I've been invited out to Seattle to take a look at my client's home and make some decisions. And this guy was like really cool about it and was like asking me for advice on his kitchen and shit. And I'm like, yeah, I think we're really going to see like a pop of color in the backsplash come back in a big way.
Nice.
And so shout out to that guy. I hope his kitchen looks great.
You're like watching TV. Like, I mean, that you're probably right. Like, I watch HGTV for probably at least an hour a day of every day of my life. Like, I could easily lie and make someone's kitchen look much better.
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
No, I'm not an interior decorator, but I do have a Hulu subscription.
Same thing.
Discovery Plus, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, Justine, if you like, you would be impossible to put in a sitcom. I think if they tried to pick you up and place you into a sitcom, you would be immune to any of the sitcom
like
sort of-
hijinks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you like, that's the kind of thing that always gets people, they get in over their head or whatever. I don't think you're ever in over your head.
Yeah, she's too slippery.
It's incredible.
She doesn't care enough,
I'm a real
The
weasel
stakes
of a gal.
I know.
Oh, slippery Justine.
This is amazing.
Yeah, you know how otters, like, their bodies are aerodynamic to slip through the water?
Yeah.
I'm like that.
Wouldn't that be hydrodynamic?
Yes, thank you.
I just made that up.
To slip through the water, they've got that like oil on their fur that kind of and I'm running with it, which is what you should do.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I'm like one of those,
getting it.
except instead of the ocean, it's like a conversation. And I don't care enough, Matt. You're right, because if someone ever catches me out while lying, which hasn't happened yet, by the way, because I'm decent at just total full-throated confidence in all my bullshit. If anyone ever catches me out by lying, I don't have like the grace or dignity to be embarrassed. I would just be like, yeah, you got me, man. Wasn't that good though?
And then just proceed to lie again.
Yeah, and then I'll be like,
go
so
down
the
like
truth
that.
is, and then a different lie, and just see.
Yeah, exactly. You would just lie until you could get away. I mean, right? You would just or just run. At
And
a
that's
certain
the thing
point,
too,
you're
is
just like,
that you do
I'm
this
just
to
out. I'm
strangers
running.
in an airport or a grocery store. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, you just go take
They're
a
not
piss.
the police.
And it's over.
Which
I gotta
can
take a
also
piss.
lie to, though.
Figure it out for yourself. It's You think I'm lying? I gotta piss. Bye.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
Yeah, exactly. Other people's perception of my fun lies are simply not my business.
You're giving them a fun story to tell their friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
Doing
Because
them a
either
service.
they believe a wild story and they get to go home and be like, wow, I met this girl at the grocery store and blah, 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 blah.
She was a graphic designer.
Yeah.
Interior designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And she
they don't
says-
believe my bullshit and then they get to go home and be like, I met this psycho today. So, like, either way, they're getting a good conversation out of it. I'm doing a service. And I think we should all just lie for fun more. It's gotten me some free stuff, free drinks, whatever. It's just a good time. Lie for fun. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, speaking
lie
of doing a service, I do think there's something that we're being 40 minutes into the episode. I thought we would get this in sooner, but Justine, we need you to do us a service of filling us in about all this crazy. I was going to say Harry Potter.
Yes.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Harry
Same
Potter. Harry Potter.
All
Okay,
British people are Harry Potter, so.
basically. But yeah, this book came out. Is that what the deal is about all of Prince Harry's
Prince
weird
Harry.
frozen
Yeah.
dicks and shit? I don't know what.
So, yeah, Prince Harry, everyone's favorite former royal, I guess, took a, by the way, $20 million book deal.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Yeah.
It's the
royalty,
fastest selling
you know?
book in history, I think.
In
Or ever
Britain,
Yeah,
recorded.
it's just he's one of the regular guys now.
it
Yeah,
is
just a regular guy.
the fastest selling British published book of all time.
Oh, who
Yeah,
cares
yeah.
then?
It's an important qualifier. But yeah, so basically, I'm gonna assume that everyone kind of knows what happened with Prince Harry. Does anyone?
I can
No.
sum it up right.
Sure.
He married an American woman, a celebrity, Meghan. He left the royalty, right? That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. So yeah, it was basically yeah, he married Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle was faced with a ton of really disgusting, misogynistic, racist comments, classist comments as well. People called her and her family trailer trash and Compton ghetto. Hood
Can you
rat
imagine like
trash
the Queen of
shit.
England saying that shit to you? Like,
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this never came
Listen to
directly from the Queen. This was all the people who report, and that's one thing I've learned about this book is that the royal family has an insane relationship with the press. There's something called the
Yeah.
Royal Rota, which is a group of journalists and newspapers who basically have a deal with the royal family to get like first crack at any articles that come out about them. They get to they get privileged access to the royal family to report on them, basically. And the assumption, of course, is that there's some give and take on what they do and don't say. But anyway, so all of this stuff came at the hands of the British press. Harry and Meghan said, fuck this. Meghan actually experienced a miscarriage during one of her pregnancies while all this was going on, with like them being stalked by British paparazzi and shit. So they left, and essentially there was originally an agreement in place that like they would no longer use the like he basically was no longer entitled to use the title of His Royal Highness Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex.
Damn.
Like they just stripped yeah, right.
I can't
but they
use
were
my
still
royal titles. And
supposed
imagine
to
if I
be-
just came to the group chat like, "Damn, y'all was stripped of my royal titles." Fucked up.
Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
HRH Phil Buck, Duke of Memphis.
That's fine.
But yeah, so the original agreement was that he wouldn't use the title, but he would still technically be performing service on behalf of the Queen, and still be allotted, you know, the money and the security that comes with that, like actual security, like bodyguards. I mean, and then they had this agreement, so they moved to, I believe it was Canada that they moved to, and then the royal family said, never mind, and took their bodyguards and took their money and said, you are no longer affiliated whatsoever with the crown.
That is so
But-
fucked.
So weird. Like, wait for them to go overseas. Then they won't be able to get back.
Yeah.
They can't get us.
And they don't have any
From
resources to like catch a flight or anything. You know,
Even,
they're stranded in Ontario or something.
The Queen like do this before she died, or
So that's one thing that's sort of in this book is that the Queen never directly acts on anything. Everything comes from the office of the palace, basically. And there are some very strong hints and overtures that there are several unnamed advisors to the Queen who are kind of in her ear, Varys and Littlefinger types, kind of pulling strings. And even when the Queen died, it was kind of a big thing. Like, I don't know if you guys remember anything other than the entire nation of Ireland throwing a party for 3 weeks.
yeah.
But
I recall that.
there was
God bless him.
some controversy that Harry did not arrive in England, or to Scotland, because she was at Balmoral, which is the fucking hunting palace in Scotland. He did not arrive there until after she had died, because he was not able to take a like royal flight and had to fly commercial out there, which was a whole thing. But so basically, that's where Prince Harry is, that kind of the excommunicated black sheep of the royal family. And his brother William, also they're sons of Princess Diana and the current king, who's now married to what's her name, Camilla. William is now the heir to the throne. I believe Harry is now like something like 6th in line when he started his life at 3rd. So he wrote this book now that he's officially no longer associated with the palace or the crown whatsoever. He can
He's going in.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be his tell-all, even though he did specifically say he cut out about 400 pages of this book.
That's what we need. Release the Snyder cut of
Release
Harry.
the 400
Yeah.
pages.
Release the Snyder cut of the
His
Harry
words
book.
were basically that his father and brother would never speak to him again if he didn't cut it. So I really want to know what was in it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Did they?
I cannot believe it's taken me so long to get here. So a part of this book that was widely reported on. Do you guys want the actual like page? Do you just want the summary?
Nah, I'm never gonna read this book.
Okay.
Just
All right.
give us this
All
break.
right. So
Yeah.
basically, he Prince Harry in this book recalls a trip he took to the North Pole. It was some kind of charity thing. Wounded veterans essentially taking a march to the North Pole to raise money.
As
He
one
joined
does.
them and got frostbite on his dick, which he refers to in this book as his Todger, which is
Oh, good God, man.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
not
I
like
would
he
fucking-
uses it once. He
Come
says
over
it
here.
like 18
Put your
times.
hands on me, Todger. Stroke me,
Oh, is that
Todger.
what I love?
Wow, you got me, Todger, really
Put your hands
hard.
on
right
my
now.
Yeah.
Todger.
For our
Todger's
UK fans,
Todger's rock hard right now.
Is that like the equivalent of like wiener? Is that like
It has
about
to
what
be.
we're dealing
It
with?
feels like a childish slang, right? Like,
Right.
hey,
Oh, okay.
It hits me
baby,
like
told ya, huh?
yeah, like a
Like, you know.
wiener, but like heavier.
Yeah.
But don't write that in your
It's like wiener,
adult
but like with
tell-all
the weight of
book, like-
royalty. Royal Todger.
I like the idea that like his editor was like the 400 pages about your dick. We have to cut that.
But the Todger, leave that in.
Yeah, but the Todger can stay. More Todger, in fact.
It's like an American president writing about his pee-pee got frozen.
Well,
So cold.
So yeah, basically, he was experiencing long-term symptoms of, and I'll actually say not frostbite. Frostbite has stages to it.
Okay.
Kind of like degrees of burns, where like fourth degree or third degree frostbite is what we're familiar with. The your hand turns black and you've got to get it chopped off. He didn't have that. He had what's known colloquially as frost nip, kind of beginning stage.
Frost nip on me Todger.
Yeah.
Get the royal medic, please. I need to rock my frost nip on my Todger.
It
Jack
basically
Frost nipping at your Todger.
it basically amounts to
Bing Crosby just passed away, so
like freezer burn on your appendages would be how it is. So it's uncomfortable, I would imagine, painful, but not, he's not going to lose the thing.
Does he detail how this occurred? Like, why was his penis
it was-
exposed to the elements? Like,
So
Did he say if it
wasn't-
feels good or no?
He
it
said
leads up to a
tingled.
great sucking off. If you have the freezer burn on your Todger first,
and then
you
the
apply the cold peas first.
it's like a whole tantric thing. It's you go from frozen cold Shrivmaxxing.
Triving. Okay. I like this guy. Okay.
So basically, it was not so much that his
Terrible
Todger was
Shrivmaxxing.
out and exposed
Accident.
to the North Pole air. It was that he didn't dress properly,
sure.
and
What
did
an
not have
idiot.
the right.
He
type
took his
of
dick out.
underwear. Yeah, I think he took his dick.
Yeah,
He took his fucking dick out.
I think he did.
That's a Shrivmaxxing accident for sure.
But the official story.
Yeah, the official story is that he basically was not dressed properly and that he
What
wasn't
was he
wearing
wearing?
the right underwear.
Pajama pants or
even-
something? I mean, give me a break.
But
Cookie
you
Monster
gotta-
pajama pants.
you gotta imagine, even just like jeans and like boxers or something, like that's the North Pole.
No.
It's the North
Yeah,
Pole.
but will his Todger freeze off though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But basically,
it is an extremity.
the part, obviously, I think it's very funny that it even got frostbitten to begin with. But the part that got shared around quite a bit was later when he was still experiencing the symptoms. He had asked for some home remedies and was recommended by his friend an Elizabeth Arden cream to put on it. And what he
Just
said,
consulting the group chat. Hey guys, my Todger's fucked up again.
Anybody got any advice here for the old Todger?
and basically he points out that this specific Elizabeth Arden cream was used by his mother, Princess Diana, who I still have a lot to say. We'll get there. I will talk about Princess Diana before this is over because Matt wanted to know.
I do.
Basically, Princess Diana used that exact Elizabeth Arden cream on her lips. And
Ooh.
there's a line in the book. I found a tube, and the minute I opened it, the smell transported me through time. I felt as if my mother was right there in the room.
With his
Then I
Todger?
took a
Dick out.
smidge and applied it down there.
Oh
Here
my
doesn't
god,
do the feeling
dude.
justice.
You know what? I get it that like in your mind you're writing this and you think it's kind of like poetic or whatever, or you know.
Yeah.
But bro, like just stop again and read it one more time.
Yeah, just look at it.
Doing?
Look at
Like,
what you did.
His
so
ghostwriter hates him, I think.
you're rubbing cream on your dick and thinking of your mother. Like let's just like
Just like imagine yes, as I deeply inhaled my dead mother's lip cream, I took my cock out.
How is this not in the 400 pages? How is this not in the
Yeah, why
400
did that-
pages?
They're gonna be. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's just gonna come out. You know, he's gonna claim that it was just like the ghostwriter took. Many of the passages in the book are just from Chat GPT. And the prompt was just give me some shit about Harry.
this book, among other things, is filled with like this man has insane issues, mommy issues related to the death
Sure.
of
How could
Princess
you
Di,
not?
which like I get it. You have that's a crazy situation. But it's also filled with these little anecdotes that I think are supposed to make him seem like cool and down to earth and relatable. But they all start with like, yes, as Papa and I were hunting quail in the Queen's Woods outside of the palace, my footman stopped me and we rolled a joint together. How very droll. And it's like-
Verily.
yeah. Yeah, Elizabeth Arden, by the way, is not a cheap brand. Elizabeth Arden is like Nordstrom type shit.
Sure.
I just asked ChatGPT what a Todger is.
How do you spell it?
I guessed Todger. Was that
Okay.
correct?
That's what
Todger?
I guessed.
Yes.
And it just replied simply with one sentence: Todger is a slang term for a man's penis. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
may have been
ChatGPT is English. Got
Yeah.
it.
But yeah, so he has all these like, oh yes, fellas, isn't it so very droll, a wonderful jape when your page comes to you with the incorrect serving of ortolan, and it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's really relatable, man. I totally feel you.
I'm just
He's just
thinking
like me for real.
in his mind, he's like relating to like Snoop Dogg paying a joint rolling person, like their job is to roll joints $100,000 a year, and he's like, yes, my footman who rolls my joints for me.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't
No,
really
it's
like
the
hit
same
the
as
same
Snoop
when
Dogg.
these are like generational slaves handed to you from a palace in
God.
Scotland. And like he talks about being like shifted around from like home to home because one thing I will grant him is that he actually does kind of address that like I sound spoiled and I sound like I've never done anything for myself because when you are a royal child you cannot any job that he does or any money he's given has to come directly, or at least prior to him leaving the family, had to come directly from them. So it's like, I totally get your circumstances here where like you would like to be, self-sufficient, but like that literally just isn't part of the family. But like you just also can't play that as like a relatable guy.
No, 'cause you just got paid $2 million for a book deal after
20.
your whole
20 million.
Oh, 20. Well, thank you. Yeah.
20 million.
Go fucking work at Lynn's Crafters, Harry, and then talk to me.
Exactly.
Outside Memphis, Tennessee.
Adjust somebody's fucking nose pads, and then I'll relate to you, bro.
Yeah. But so it's like he talks a lot about being like shifted from home to home because he couldn't even pick the places he lived. He has to live at an approved place by the queen and his father. But he's complaining about this, but they're like castles. So it's like I don't know how bad castles. I feel.
Right.
Yeah, like not I'm not saying a big mansion that is reminiscent of a castle. I am saying quite literally a castle with like moats and shit.
Hard to feel bad for the guy who
the
like
house has a name.
He didn't get to choose what castle he lived in.
Yes, exactly. He didn't get his choice.
That sounds horrible, dude.
It's like the fucking the Monty Python bit with the kid in the tower who wants to sing.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mentioned Princess Di and how he clearly has insane mommy issues related to Princess Di. He actually comes out even and says in this book that like for years and years he didn't even believe that she was actually dead. He like had convinced himself that she was missing, which is like that is the most, I guess, emotionally like those are the parts of the book where he feels relatable when he's just like a guy who's sad about his mom being dead. Like, and that's where you're like, okay, you're a human being. I get it.
Right.
And so I did want to get into, we haven't had a Justine rant in a while. And Matt was curious. I don't know how much any of you are familiar with, I mean, obviously everybody knows about the death of Princess Di. I don't know how many of you are familiar with.
Actually, could you film it? I don't know about that. What is that?
Okay.
It's the 9/11 of Britain, basically.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, the accepted course of events is that Princess Diana, following her separation and subsequent divorce from he was at the time Prince Charles, he's now King Charles III. Following their divorce, she had begun seeing Dodi Al-Fayed, who was her boyfriend. He was an Egyptian Muslim man. The crown did not like this. It did not look good for them because Britain is a backwards racist island. But basically, the official story is that Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed were being driven in her Mercedes through a tunnel in Paris, and they were being chased by paparazzi through the tunnel in a very unsafe way. Motorcycles kind of flanking the car, chasing them down through the tunnel, and the driver crashed the vehicle. I believe Dodi Al-Fayed was dead instantly, and I believe Diana died in the hospital shortly after. Mm-hmm. And so that's the official thing, is that they were chased by paparazzi. It was a crash. It was an accident. It was tragic. Blah 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 blah. That doesn't add up for a lot of people, because specifically, there was a lot of animosity from the royal family towards Diana. She was known as the people's princess. People really loved her. She was a huge one for humanitarian causes. A very iconic moment for her was going to visit AIDS patients in a hospital at the height of the AIDS crisis. And this sounds silly now, but at the time, she touched an AIDS patient, gave them a hug, and it was like they're not lepers moment, like she had real compassion. And it made the royal family look bad. She was brash. She was opinionated. She stood up for herself in a way that I think most of the wives and girlfriends crowd in the royal family doesn't quite, that's not their thing. That's not what they want out of their wives and girlfriends for this family. Mm-hmm. And then in addition, like I said, there were the racial connotations of her being with Dodi Al-Fayed. It looked bad in their minds, of course, to have an Egyptian Muslim marry into the royal family, because the royal family are official. Basically, they represent the Church of England. So you cannot marry into the royal family if you are Catholic, much less if you are Muslim.
Right.
And so the general theory is that the royal family made this accident happen. And it has since come out that Diana had written private notes saying in specific terms, "I fear for my safety. They are planning something. They will make it look like an accident in my car."
Wasn't there something with the tunnel surveillance also, like it went missing or some shit?
I believe so, yes.
It was an Epstein kind of deal.
There were also photos missing from official reports. And in this book, Harry specifically mentions a time when he and William, like I said, his brother, who was also Diana's son, he and William didn't feel good about the reports they were given. Like it smelled off to them,
Sure.
And they were ready to launch their own investigation, and it was shut down by the palace, and they were told no.
I wonder why that would happen.
Yeah, it's very curious.
Odd.
Strange.
I actually got to bring up, we did cover this a few episodes back about the QAnon crowd, sharing messages from Princess Di that she was going to be re-emerging soon.
With like JFK.
This does track.
Diana's car just did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jet fuel can't melt car beams.
Jet fuel can't melt Mercedes Benz. But so Harry and William were given by the palace the private police reports, and Harry specifically lays out that when he received these private reports, they were redacted from him specifically, that he wasn't given the full report. There were pages missing. There were, literally Operation Paperclip shit where there were little indents where he could see that pages had been taken out.
Okay.
And so that is the big thing with Princess Diana, is that most people who give a shit, like me and my mom. I care about Princess Diana because my mom will cry about if she hears Elton John's cover of Candle in the Wind.
Sure.
So I just have to know this. But yeah, so that's the generally accepted thing, is that the royal family killed Princess Diana to avoid embarrassment, because there was also rumors that she was pregnant with Dodi Al-Fayed's child. And they did not want this in their family.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's some horrifying shit, but
Yeah.
Cool.
checks out, and I believe it, having
Yeah.
just heard about it.
Yeah, totally.
This is probably my least hot take as far as my rants go, I would say.
Sure.
I,
Yeah,
I think yeah.
more than 50% of people would probably agree,
Yeah.
depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
King Charles is I think my biggest hater on this one.
King Charles you're canceled, okay? So just watch
Yeah.
out. It's gonna happen soon. It's over for you.
I mean,
and
he's
the
got to
British
die
royalty.
soon too, right? And then we'll have
Yeah, have you seen his
King
hands?
William.
Jesus Christ. He's got something going on. They're big. They're swollen.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally it's a sign of bad health.
Yeah,
Hot dog fingers?
It's not good, I can tell you that much.
It's
I mean,
probably
come on.
not good. I'm not a doctor.
penumbral balloon extremitus.
Well, speaking of hot takes, I don't want to end this episode on that was a pretty maudlin thread we went down, which we all agreed on, but I can't end the episode on that.
Of course.
So I'll lend this hot take to the episode, and we can suss it out and wrap it up. But I'm going to just say, in support of public universities banning TikTok, I think that I would just want to say to my co-hosts and the listeners, I think y'all probably should delete TikTok. And that's a hot take. Ashley says no. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
But delete it. Just don't. It's not
I
just
have
don't
it,
use it. Get it off of your phone. Like delete it.
why is that?
Ashley's like, I'll do it now. Don't even fuck with it.
I'm
Well,
doing it literally right now.
I need to pull up the article in the group chat because I can't really sum it up as well as this article. But some of y'all might have seen that I do a technology news show for my job, and we cover lots of stuff about just basic cybersecurity shit. And so there was this article that came out. This is actually from the summer of last year about the FCC saying that TikTok is an unacceptable security risk. They're trying to pressure, Apple and Google to remove it from the stores. They won't do it because duh, it's in their interest to have this most popular app of all time in their marketplace.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Right.
But the who is this Carr? I'm trying to make sure that the commissioner of the FCC, at this time, he said it's clear that TikTok's pattern of conduct and misrepresentations regarding the unfettered access that persons in Beijing have sensitive U.S. user data. So that's one thing they're trying to say. Okay, well maybe the government of China has access to it. I don't know so
they're
much.
Finally gonna get me.
I don't know so much of that I care
After all
about
these years.
necessarily who the people is that have the data. What I am bothered by is when I kept reading this article, regardless of whoever it is, somebody has this data. It says TikTok is said to collect quote unquote everything from search and browsing histories, keystroke patterns, biometric identifiers, including face prints, something that could be used in unrelated facial recognition technology, and voice prints, location data, draft messages, metadata, and data stored in your clipboard, including text, images, and videos. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking for any excuse to uninstall TikTok, and this is good enough.
Yeah. I've realized recently, so like you guys know how casinos are designed to keep you in
Right,
the
yeah.
casino. They're dark, they're laid out in a like maze-like pattern, lots of overstimulation visually, as well as a total absence of any clocks or anything like that. They have food there, they have cigarettes there, you can drink there, you can cash your paycheck at a casino. All of these things designed to keep you there. TikTok is literally the casino of apps. Like, it is designed very specifically to light up parts of your brain that say, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling, do another video, do another video.
A lot of video games are like that now too. Triple A's.
Does that make Instagram like the bar room Kino sort of corner?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's the A24 app.
I will say I've fallen,
because they want to be TikTok so hard.
I've fallen prey to the Kino bars. They're right there, man.
Yeah.
The town I live in, it's called Little Vegas because it's on the Colorado River, and it's a cheaper place with a lot of gambling for like old people to come. Basically, it's like Vegas if you weren't cool and wanted to party, essentially.
Great.
55 and up Vegas. And so if I go to the gas station down the street from my house, you know what's in there? Keno and slots. If I go to the grocery store, Keno and slots. If I go to any of the bars, Keno and slots. It's there. It's everywhere. You literally cannot escape it. And I feel that way on my phone.
Crazy.
I have caught myself picking up my phone with the intention to check the weather or send a text, and then I'm
make
like,
an important note, refill a prescription.
I had to look up what Keno was because I thought you guys were talking about movie bars,
Keno
places that which I was like, damn, that's like a niche thing. I've only been to a couple of those.
Yeah.
So then,
they're playing Permanent Vacation over at the.
Video Keno. Essentially, for any of you who don't live in a degenerate gambling town, it's essentially a big screen from 1972. And it has a chart of numbers essentially, and you choose like the 5 to 10 numbers you want, depending on the amount of numbers you choose. If you choose like a bunch of numbers to select, you'll make less money, but you'll have a higher chance of getting a hit on one of those numbers. If you do a few, you'll make way more if you get hits on those numbers. It's
like
just
using the big bingo card.
Yes, exactly. But designed for like my dad to get addicted to. So that's what that is. And so like it really is a casino. Like I again have found myself picking up my phone, meaning to do something important, and then it's like my thumb just hits TikTok, and then an hour goes by, and I'm like, this is fucked up.
Totally.
I was even speaking with Phil earlier about how like, I totally should delete this off my phone, but I literally feel like I have to do it like I got off heroin and like wean myself off of it. It's
kind of every app is kind of like that now, though.
Yeah.
Like they all just do that same thing. Like. And that's what the all social, like you go, it's like stories and shit. I mean, Twitter tried kind of doing it with the Fleets thing, and then they took them away. But
well, every single technology company that's in this market, that's what they want to do. And
exactly. Yeah, inherently.
That's why you've seen every single social media since TikTok gained dominance do the exact same thing as TikTok. That's why we have Reels. That's why we have stories. That's why it's very clear. But besides the major point of like, hey, you could be like giving away way more information than you necessarily want to. I get it. I had my little TikTok phase. It was great. I loved it for a while, and then I was like, okay, the algorithm forsake me, and then they don't care anymore. Like I didn't really want to scroll. I wanted to go viral, and I did, and I was like, this app is awesome. I love it. And then it didn't ever happen again. I was like, this app fucking sucks.
extremely a slot machine.
I just I feel like I have never posted a single video to TikTok. I am up at 4:30 in the morning watching someone pour resin into dice molds, and I'm like, this is the greatest content I could ever imagine seeing. Thank you very much. Like it's fucked up. Like, and there are times when like the algorithm will be bad for 5 minutes, and I'm scrolling through videos and I'm like, none of these are really hitting. I'm going to close the app. And then it's like, when I have thought, it's like, oh, do you want to see a guy make a sword from scratch? And I'm like, well, fuck.
I have that happen so many times to me on Facebook where I'm literally about to put it down, and whatever the next thing is that I can only see one line of it or the top of the image, I'm like, I gotta see what that is.
It's like Willow said, it literally is a slot machine where like you'll start to run out of money, and then the machine hits just a little to let you keep playing. It's fucked up. And like, do you know how embarrassing it is to realize to yourself like, oh, I'm kind of addicted to this little video app. Like, that sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
It's
Well-
TikTok's algorithm is legitimately really impressive. Like, I was on it the first time I ever used it. I was on it for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, you want to see this woman who makes miniature dioramas from scratch, and I'm like, fuck, you got me. I'm here for 2 years. So
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I don't like it. I never did. But I don't know why that is. I certainly see my share of TikToks elsewhere though, so I'm still in it, you know.
I gotta say, I mean, just to wrap this episode up, I think Justine summed it up very well. That it's very embarrassing to admit that you're addicted to this video app, or just insert anything from now all the way back to MySpace. That has been my entire
I'm addicted to all the other ones.
Life. And so, I just got to say that, thank you for everyone for taking a moment away from your feed, your stream, to listen to the Suck. And this has been episode 60 of the Suck. And make sure you join our group, the Suck Shame Posting. And if you like the show, subscribe on Patreon or anchor.fm. And we'll be back with a bonus episode next week.
And as always, shop at kielbasagarage.com.
That's right. Then we got a discount code in the show notes, so make sure you go check that.
Hell yeah.
All right, later, guys.
Bye.